Hi, everyone. Welcome to White Noise. My name is Robin, and I'm your host today. Well, here we are yet again, and we got a great show ahead of us. I'm very excited. We have a featured performer. He's standing in the back there like a shadow who we don't want to acknowledge, but we will very soon. I'm going to start this event with a very short reading, not of my own stuff actually. This is inspired by the podcast that me and Tristan did last week. Tristan's our featured performer. We spoke about a lot of things, and we spoke about one thing, which is cats, and specifically cat poetry. And he mentioned this poet to me, this local guy who wrote a book about his cat. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then I went to the bookstore, and lo and behold, I found the book. So here it is. It's called Odie is Being Called Back, and there he is in all of his glory. I was a bit deceived. This book was mainly not about the cat. I was like searching. I read the whole book and I was like, where is this damn cat? He was at the very end, all right? He was at the very end of the book. The poet, his name is Gerard Malanga. I think he's based in Beacon. I'm probably wrong. But he adopted this cat when he was 20 years old. And he had him for the rest of his life, and it seems like they just immediately fell in love. And, you know, that's really as good as it gets. So I'm going to just read one quick poem about dear Odie. Because, you know, we all, I think anyone here who doesn't like cats, I just don't know what to say to you. But I love cats. I have a cat. His name is Vivian, and he is the best. He is truly an angel upon this scar of an earth. And that's all I'm going to say about him, because I'm not going to get emotional. Let's see, which one do I want to read? All right, I'm going to read this one. It's called The Day Lady Died. The day Lady died was not the day Odie seemed anxious, climbed on into my lap to gain a better view of the sunshine outside, and having given me a big hug already. Does he know something I don't know? What's next? What's past? We just go on with our lives. You with your snapshots, you called them. I with my voice, with a newfound energy rolling off the tongue, a stream of something or other. You're sedated. You have no way of knowing what keeps you in limbo within your new consciousness. But how could you not know this? How could you talk to me now? How can I reply with neither hearing the other, deaf to each ear, and wanting to say, I can't play God? Is there anything we missed? Anything? Like, don't forget to take out the trash, gather the laundry, empty the kitty litter, turn off the lights. Remember to say this or not that. Forgetting those first lines to move forward. Forgotten? Remember forgetting or until it's too late. I'm left with words that go nowhere. Until some nether time when time is all I've got. As we face each other in those dreamy yesterdays, those darknesses, those dog day afternoons, those slumbered twilights seated back in lawn chairs, futures where the unknowables make themselves known. Rest assured, there is no rest, but to go on with the day after tomorrow as if nothing's changed, with no end in sight. The day Lady died is a day like any other, with and without you. Where am I? Today or tomorrow. So that's a bit of this. It's a bit of Odie, and if you all feel obliged to read cat poems, I would be probably the happiest girl in the world. But if not, that's okay too. So we're gonna kick this off. I'm gonna read Tristan's bio, and then he's gonna get up on this stage and do whatever the hell he wants to do. So Tristan Geary is a London-born writer based in Hudson, New York. He writes poetry and short stories. He's a journalist and writes for local papers like the Times-Union, Chronogram, Kingston Wire, and the New Pine Plains Herald. He is sometimes in plays like Twelfth Night and As You Like It with the Columbia County Players. His poetry has been published in Chronogram, Expat Press, and Chosen Family. He also puts his writing out into the world through his Substack. You can read it at tristangeary.substack.com. He also plays the piano and likes improvised music. Well, isn't that charming? Welcome to the stage, Tristan.
And thank you, Robin, and thank you, David, and thank you, everyone. Some of you I know, some of you I look forward to knowing. I'm just going to get right to it. I wind the clock. I have a job. I wind the clock. The one in the steeple of the First Presbyterian Church. It chimes every hour, and it can be heard from everywhere in town. If I don't wind it every week, the weights will descend and the metal coil will unravel until there is none left on the spool. It'll stop ringing, and people may sleep in accidentally. I climb up 3 bird-shit-covered ladders within the steeple. I can see the slats bowing. Layers of dust, centuries old, are here, and I think I have contracted some sort of disease long forgotten, and it may bring me an early death. The steeple narrows as I go up. I duck under old beams. They are graffitied with the names of people who once had this job. A little pallid daylight diffusing through the stained glass windows illuminates my ascent. McAllister, 1888. I wonder how he died. Henson, 1984. I wonder if he's still alive. I want to etch my name into the beams before I move or die. I arrive at the clock, which is the size of a room. Dozens of interlocking copper cogs nudge each other. Rusted rods turn the 8 hands of 4 clock faces on all sides of this isosceles steeple. A colossal stack of weights suspended with the metal coil is the counterforce that keeps them revolving. A separate set of weights pulls the hammer to strike the bell, which is about the size of my car. It sometimes knows when it's the top of the hour. It just knows. In the clock room, there's a Bible and a chair with no seat. It's quite dark up here. I'm in the spire. There is a motorized crank which I use to bring up the set of weights. The weights for the bell are wound with a manual crankshaft. I'm sweating. I squint to see if I can see the weights descending, which makes time progress, but they move too slowly for the human eye to detect. But now it's already been a week, and the weights have descended down the steeple already. Now I will hoist them back up again. Later, next week will come, and it will be now, and I'll hoist them back up again. A pendulum, the entire length of the steeple, is ticking. It's held up by a thin wisp of metal like a flattened coin. The metal is clasped tightly in a clamp that hasn't been loosened in 100 years. It bends gently from side to side. I'm watching it closely. I check for skips. There's a rope to manually ring the bell. I will now pull the rope. I ring the bell to confuse the pedestrians below who are like ants. They look up at the sky and wonder about the time. Everything in the clock room is interconnected and works in harmony to tell the time. When I move or when I die, someone else can enter to take care of this elder Met god. Turn the crank. For now, I wind the clock. Thanks. My stupid fucking laptop life. Why is it in olden times people would catch a train, leave their job, start another job, join the army, sit down and write a letter, lean up against the post, watch their imprint dry on a warm rock in the quarry in July? But I think about why I'm not a miner. But never, not once, have I got up early and gone to a job for a company, worked hard, got really stuck in, to the point where time dissolves, had a modest lunch, and then got back to it, right back to the zone, even more immersed this time, to the point where the world is just concepts and vague colored shapes, and then came home and had a hearty dinner, the world kindling back into focus, after which plonked down on the couch, undid the button on my pants, patted my belly, and said something like, "Nothing like an honest day's graft," and then, after migrating to my bed and losing myself utterly in 2 chapters, dog-eared my paperback, set it on the bedside table, rolled over, and went to sleep. So you're saying you dog-ear your paperback, you set it on the bedside table, you turn off the light, and you roll over, and you just go to sleep. And it just works. And you don't think twice, and it's all okay. And you fall asleep right away. And you think of what? And you think of what? Nothing? And you count sheep, or you just fall asleep, and you start dreaming? And you think of tomorrow, and you think of today, and you think of yesterday, and you don't sweat? Fuck you. What might I do? What I certainly never will do. What I could be doing. For example, not this. Now that an hour has gone by, I can tell myself, job done. You will never see me at this link again. Thank you. I recently took this creative writing class, and one of the prompts was to write a dating profile, but almost like an anti-dating profile. So anything that you wouldn't put in your bio on your like Tinder page or some shit, all the kind of refuse, which somebody should make an app, which is that, I think. It's called Before You Go on a Date With Me. Before you go on a date with me, just know I have a lump in my neck and I will ask you to feel it. When my mum visits me, she runs her finger along the wainscoting and then inspects her fingertip. Before you go on a date with me, just know that yesterday I had a dream I was dating Liz, but I broke up with her the day we started dating. Liz basically understood and gave me $40. I promise I won't do this to you, but do you mind if we split this bill? Then came another chapter of the dream, the performance. Before you go on a date with me, just know my day always begins with a question. What can I accomplish today? Sometimes it begins with another question. How long can this possibly go on? Before you go on a date with me, just know I am not a good candidate for hypnosis. Before you go on a date with me, just know I can't come to the honky-tonk flea market tonight. I have Dream Analysis Club. But before you go on a date with me, just know that it's not that I'm not political, it's just that I don't want to talk about politics with you specifically. Before you go on a date with me, just know I always say I want to write more letters, but I don't because I don't have any letters to respond to. Where are the letters? Where are they? My mailbox is empty. Before you go on a date with me, just know that whenever I learn about a public whoever, I look up their Wikipedia page and find out exactly what they were up to when they were exactly my age. Then I scroll down and look at how they died, and then I go back to what I was doing. Pause. I need to suck the red wine spill out of this jute rug. And then everyone stood up and clapped. Before you go on a date with me, just know I am against the word modern being used as a prefix. Modern dating, modern medicine, modern dining, modern city life, modern issues, modern world. All of that to me is just dating, medicine, dining, city life, issues, and the world. But before you go on a date with me, just know that I am a great candidate for hypnosis, but it has to be right now. Before you go on a date with me, just know that I like you. I really do. But please know that I will never like you more than a quiet and unremarkable evening. Before you go on a date with me, just know that I'm a conservative because I think some things ought to be conserved. But I'm a progressive in the sense that there is progress to be made. I won't tell you about who or what because I must make an offering to the great squirm. But it doesn't matter, really, because all I really wanted, what I should have just said at the beginning, what I really wanted to tell you, and this is something that should never be approached abstractly, was to dance with you. Thanks. This is one long sentence about camping. Okay. The thing with camping is, Unlike that one hotel I staggered back to, the one outside Aiken, South Carolina, in a strip mall called Enterprise Park, or was it Business Plaza, or something even more defeating, I don't remember, except that it was a short drive from the tiny bar with no name, the one with the no guns allowed sign on the door, the bar filled with curling blue smoke where the beer was in a clear plastic cup that cracked and gushed so easily, with its achingly bad karaoke that I somehow entertained because I was alone, traveling with nothing else to do, 1,000 miles from home, there to inject adventure into my life that I had felt had gone stale, where I met a stranger who I struck up conversation with purely based on the light wash of her jeans and the way she cradled a camera slung around her neck, whose face I didn't even look at before the first slurred words were exiting my mouth, who I think I saw earlier trudging up the same field, and who I ended up spending the whole evening with, but who didn't come back to Enterprise Plaza to wrestle the bedsheets with me, tuck stubbornly into the underbelly of the mattress, or flip through the TV with me, wondering aloud how many hundreds, thousands have clicked blindly through before us, or waged war against the white walls of the hotel, the staleness, through nothing but our embrace, and who I still write to sometimes. Is that with camping? I don't have any of these thoughts, because the adventure doesn't end until my eyes close and I drift off to sleep in my fluttering tent in the shadow of the pines. And even then, the creatures and critters stalking the night around me scurry their way into my dreams. Thanks. Thank you. I'll do a more like straight poem. This is based on like an advertisement for a scent, like a men's scent that I saw in a menswear magazine, and then I like took this paragraph advertisement that was talking all about this scent, and I kind of like chopped it up, so it's kind of like a found poem, and also like a kind of intentional misreading of it, so it's kind of based on this advertisement, and then I made a little collage. It's a fun one to look at of the little scent bottle from that advertisement, and it's just called Advertisement for a Scent. All right. A curtain rises above petals, above trends, and a geode, a blue vessel, its essence invisible, turns modern men to mist. In the audience, modern man is the sea into which vaporous ice is poured. The vessel describes the agitator, the alive forest crawling, a lemon repose with stimulants, leather, lipstick, and smoke. They think of how they'll be remembered when they leave the room. A salt grin, slippery as seaweed, a ginger and unexpected individual, a dangerous power animating memory. Or all of this time pretend, 4 sins in a bottle. The curtain comes down and the men file out, seeking late leather notes, and leaving the condensations of droplets on patchouli seats sprayed all over. Thanks. Okay. New York, then, now. Then. 7th Avenue was long, so long I saw it curve with the earth. I was 8. Vapors rose from the ground around me, feathering the vanishing point. And the people were fat, like I had heard about, but in the way that made me love them, as they rocked up to the sidewalk and ducked into cabs. Each breath, standing outside in the hot dog water air, was a hurricane of delicious exhaust. Everything was sugar and dusted the wainscoting of every hotel room. I went inside to rub my feet on the red shag carpet and touch the brass pole of the bellman's trolley. I was shocked. Now, I approach her. Her eyes widen. She brings her hands to her chest, palms towards me, and shakes them in a universal no. I break for the bathroom even though I don't need it. It's my 4th piss-stained bathroom floor of the evening, and the bottom of my canvas bag is wet. I leave the bar. Outside, the hotels are still there, but they turn shyly away, as if they're ashamed of being hotels, accepting their sad, dead-end future through stifled sobs. I walk along Palmetto Street and pause in front of a row of squat, serried houses in the fading autumn light. A woman opens the door of the leftmost house, and her three-legged dog surges out and around her feet. She tells me her sweet deal, and we sit, smoking on the roughshod stoop, while a man stares at us from a window across the street above a grassless garden. I spend the rest of the night crouched under an overpass. I'm no longer shocked. Thanks. I'll do a few of these little quick hit ones. I'll just rifle through them. Let's do this because it's about Thanksgiving. This is a 100-word story, by the way. Paige Turner spent Thanksgiving with her friend in New York City on the 21st of November. That's today, by the way. That's not part of the story. But the problem was that Thanksgiving was on the 28th. 21 divided by 7 equals 3. You can see how two good friends could independently make this mistake, Thanksgiving thirds and Thursdays beginning how they do. Paige Turner ate a grand meal at her friend's place, apart from the fact that she choked on some stringy turkey fat and died. Paige Turner never learned that she had celebrated Thanksgiving on the wrong day in 2024 in New York City. She didn't see that the clue was in the ST in 21st, ending how it does. Cat scratch fever. Cat scratch fever, the Bjornkorn generation. Have you noticed Gen Z can't type? Men cannot live on vibes alone. All my bitches love decolonial praxis. Dropsy. If you're broke, then why the fuck are you at the farmer's market? Cufflinks with cyanide capsules in them. He accidentally pricked himself getting dressed for his own wedding. College. In college, we introduced ourselves... Wait, what? Yeah, in college we introduced ourselves by making a word with the first letter of our names before we introduced our name, thereby alliterating them. So there was Atrocious Adam, Nasty Nat, Kinky Kate, but for some reason, the only letters I could think of that began with my name, T, were tame and tyrannical. It was almost my turn. I decided to go with tame Tristan, as to get laid in those days, one would be wise to act obsequiously towards women. And I think that decision colored the rest of my time at college, a time of withdrawal and timidity. Nasty Nat and Kinky Kate were called that for the rest of the next 4 years. Others, like Atrocious Adam and myself, were not. I could have gone with Terrible Tristan, tall, tipsy, trustworthy, troublesome, torn. I could have been tender-hearted. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I'll do this. Okay. A day in July. I'm on Eva's couch stroking Fang. Eva needs to eat something before we head back out, so she fixes herself some UFO-shaped pasta. The microwave whirs as she pulls open the balcony doors and gazes out at the sunset. The sunset is a molten strip of orange along the horizon, throwing tendrils of diminishing reds towards us. The clouds are half-cast and turn away. The church spires fade into blue shadows, and their clock faces begin to glow in the twilight. What purity in this small-town life! The sidewalks are big enough to swing your arms about and let the breeze lift your shirt, and then when we're all sweaty, we dip in the creeks and lakes. I brush Fang off my lap and join Eva on the balcony. Fang's a cat poem mentioned. I sit on a chair next to her and put my feet up on the railing. Why is this sunset making me deeply sad, I say. It's because you don't have an outdoor space at your place, says Eva. I think about how many sunsets I've neglected, how many slip by So I resolve to admire more sunsets. But can't it not just be within me? Can I not simply just find myself doing it without the need for resolve? I'm just focusing on the wrong things, I say, surprised by my own impulse to fill the air. Maybe you should just stop focusing altogether, says Eva. I am a slave to the day's segments. Hours are hallways connecting the places where real things happen. Minutes are a mess of coat hangers that you fruitlessly try and untangle, and seconds are just a pulsing headache and are not real. The day is the only thing that is real. The day moves in one arc, like a plumb line, and it's much better to fly with it rather than to dam up its path with these flimsy segments. The day crashes through and leaves you exhausted. The day is a story. Fang is threading himself around the chair legs. I'm going to put see the sunset on my to-do list for Monday, I say to Eva. Wait, no, that's the opposite of what I should do. I should just see it without scheduling it. Just put move in the direction of the day, says Eva, skewering the last few UFO-shaped pastas. Their buttery slickness evades the tines of her fork, so she gives up and puts the bowl in my lap to finish. The last few capers are huddled together on one side. But I can't write that. It would hold up the day. It'd try and place the day, I say. Okay, says Eva, write nothing. Stop stopping the day. How? It's dark now, and the headlights of cars scurry around the town. Thanks. Let me do one more. I have no idea how long I've been going. I'll do one more, which is like a list poem. This is also like a fun visual one. This is entirely with the word "the" that I did on my typewriter, just like repeatedly, and then I kind of like re-put the paper in, and then like wrote all these words over the "the's" to like try and make them match up, so they kind of like pop off the page a bit. Yeah, but I'll just read it straight down. It's just called "the." The ripples, the reminder, the bedroom, the beginner, the sentence, the wisp of snipes, the pursuit, the lack, the worthy, the everyday, the waste, the inevitable, the age, the masculine, the many mounds of earth, the margin, the fog, the unknowable, the unopened present, the unspoken, the eyes, the sleeves, the sweat, the sweetness, the breasts, the fruits, the lie, the leftover, the plastic, the accident, the call, the pain, the swallowing, the feminine, the fork, the tines, the whole world, the afterlife, the next 5 years, the boredom, the front page, the DJ, the nuke, the murmur, the forgetting, the feeling that something's missing, the bargaining, the sorrow, the grass, the stars, the silence, the regret, the only thing left to do, the exception, the regular, the comparison, the stirred glass, the diffusion of the light. Thank you so much. Let's get this open mic started.
Well, as he said, we're going to kick off that open mic list. Seems like no one wanted to sign up for number 1 and 2, which is pretty crazy, but we're going to just... Oh, did someone? Oh, well, you know what? I spoke too soon. Up first is Will Nixon. Welcome to the stage.
First. This is a book called If Not in Heaven, Then in Socrates. They are acrostic poems. So the title, Partition Street, I wrote that down the side of the page and filled in each line. And they also, this is the heart of the pandemic, April or so, 2020. Partition Street. Practice your laughter, no matter how rusty or canned. Announce yourself to the parking meters, lonely from lockdown. Recite haiku to the sidewalk that never healed its cracks. Turn the corner with a skip in your step, but immediately turn back, ignoring the don't walk, because there's someone smiling in the window who looks incredibly like you. A lost twin or a clone. Only it is you, the one and only you. Only you need a haircut and shave, you pandemic hermit, you do. They say Rip Van Winkle lived outside of town and ruined his life by leaving his wife to hunt squirrels. But every time the light turns red, you catch a lipstick wink in the window. Even if you're not ready for love, Partition Street has plans. The tattoo parlor, coming out of hibernation, promises a golden dawn. Thanks. And one more. This is from a little poetry group that I'm in, and we called ourselves the Bluestone Poets. It's about Socrates, but I suspect it's about poetry everywhere. The Bluestone Poets. They work at the bakery or for vintage clothing. They work at the bakery or for vintage clothing. They hear snowflakes whisper haiku. Parking meters grumble elegies to dead presidents on dirty coins. They get obsessions. Blues, greens, neckties, what will they wear next? Listen, poetry has survived revolutions, rhymed, died, and gotten rude under village supervisors who'd rather be eating garlic ice cream at festivals or cheering on the stallions for the 4th of July. To be a poet in Socrates takes humility, stubbornness, stupidity, patience, and dumbstruck pride. Okay, go eat your favorite pudding and read The Wasteland one more time. Night falls, and the street sparrows crowd into a tree outside a bar. Elope, elope, they'll sing if you shake them loose from their bushy perch. Poets make no money doing what they love, only by doing what everyone else does to get by, smiling, gossiping. Early this morning, a fox walked half the length of Main Street. They say poets can't keep a secret, so don't tell anyone you heard this from me. Thank you.
Who agrees? Next up is Ted, an impressionist. Welcome.
Great, thank you, Robin. Hello, everyone. I'm Ted, an impressionist. Just like as if thousands of wet jelly beans suddenly fell from the sky, I leave deep impressions that stick on your mind. Okay, great. Okay, well, I want to break David's equipment. There we go. Okay. So, keeping with Robin's request for cats, so at least you're a cat lover, and there may be other cat lovers in the audience, so how about some cat impressions? Okay, great. Yeah, you're excited, so am I. Okay. Here's a cat pretending to be a microwave. Meow, 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 meow. Ding. Dinner's ready. Okay, great. Here's a fun one, and you can do it at home. A cat pretending to be a lava lamp. And what's fun, if you do it fast, it's a cat as an advertising balloon. Meow! Okay, great. Now, there might be some dog people here, so let's do some dog impressions. Okay, great. Here's a dog, a guard dog, very confused. Woof? Okay, great. Now, here's a dog checking out conjunctions. Yes, you know, dogs love sniffing butts. Okay, great. Great. Now, there may be some bird folks here, so I'll throw in some bird impressions. Okay, great. Here's a crow demonstrating punctuation. The exclamation point, caw, caw. The question mark, caw, caw. The ellipses, caw, caw. The comma, caw, 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 and caw. He used the Oxford comma. Okay, great. Now, the combined exclamation point, question mark, caw. That's when he found out someone dinged his car in the supermarket lot. Okay, great. Having fun so far. Okay, great. Okay, good. Now, let's see. I've been working on wrote and rehearsed this bit here. This is two chickens arguing over 19th century American literature. I think I got it rehearsed, so. Okay. Hold on. Buck, 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 buck. No, wait. Oh, God dang it. Sorry, let me start from the top. Buck, 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 buck. Quack, 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 quack. Ah, dang it. Okay, I got it. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Hold on. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Okay, I got it. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Well, they got into Emerson and just unraveled after that. Okay, great. Okay. Now, what could be great at a night like this to do a complete poem to fit in with a theme, and what could be better than the complete reading of the epic poem Beowulf? Yeah. And what could even be more exciting if it was done in the original Old English? Wouldn't that be great? Okay, great. Okay, so settle back for about 65, 70 minutes for Beowulf. Setting the timer. Jörgen Huva, sol in die Heichkundela, Jörgevision Beowulf. Zij kan undriga, Jörgevisje angekolte elveak, Jörgevia Beowulf. Je ne keul vanjeskrutje, je harulunde, ho kan bindolovka, Beowulf. Then he meets Grendel the monster. Jeg kinderjak, zolvenje dorgejam nomvolk, je skeria kontika, Beowulf. Then he meets Grendel's mother. Kan ikke vi skeriaker, Horgevesh Gorgandia, Yarkin ul Ariveskork, Beowulf. Kargesgirkan Vorgesgirkak, Engergo Yarkoskirk, Kiko Vorgeskindervok, Beowulf. Then he meets Grendel's cousin. Järkivishkerigendorivia, Sorgevidgaroda. What? What? Oh, okay. Dishkerganja. He, oh, Kaskergavgorivishke, Yarkiputket ande. Beover. Then he meets Grendel's father. Karkivishkeriga. Hoch in the Achimitovushkita. Horgevishgorode. Beowulf. Then he meets Grendel's accountant. Zirkivishgorovodye. Solgenivishgorga. Hochheimdiviroya. Go Horgesgervondye. Beowulf. Then he meets Grendel's neighbor that's very angry. Heike allulvoshkeriga. Songi Olivia Orgo. Ye Kanigavoskorivioto. Beowulf. Then he meets the local cop who is friends with Beowulf and gets him out of jail. Kinkatudivishkerivoda. Horchindivishkerivode. Horgevishkerivodge. Beowulf. Then he meets Grendel's attorney. Yes, Kanderiva Hepotupopo. Yergevoshkaturiamorgeskerivo. Gergevishkeriviskendiak. Beowulf. Oh, well, I'm running out of time. Good thing it ends at 8 minutes because I wouldn't know how the story ends. Okay, well, thanks, everyone. Enjoy your night.
So next up is Gary. Welcome.
Okay. It's a great night, huh? Okay. A couple of short haiku and other short, assorted, strange little poems. This is called Stack. With bounce and grace she walks. You know, the light's kind of weird. It's all blue and I can't see my text very well. Take your time. So, three sailors walk into a bar. Okay, take your time. Okay, I think that's better. With grace and with bounce and grace, she walks through humid morn as smoke does rise in ugliness from metal stack through innocent sky. Train horns sound. Sounds travel loud, then small. Somehow they bring peace. Another one like that. Time for first haircut. Little one concerned for pain. Snip, snip. Relief joins wonder. Spider web. Spider web, nest in a tree. Spider web, nest in a tree. Spider web, nest in a tree. Which one has complexity? And sharp teeth, sharp teeth. Oh, rip, rip. Oh, blood, blood. Oh, die, die. I am the jaguar. I will eat you. Okay, what else? Augmentation. This is full-length feature poem. Here it comes to a pharmacy near you, to an exclusive lab near you. Oh, wait, you're not a billionaire. Oh, see, it's they who scheme for life extension, they who dream for biological augmentation. Not too distant future, my friends, not too long at all. Control over everything is beginning to extend to ivory tower billionaires whose lives may never end. They want more control. They dream, supported by new technological reality, that they may live hundreds of years, create super beings, giant intelligence, great health, every more advantage, and think how much money they can make like this. Money, money, money. Transhumanism, baby, coming to you, except you can't afford it. And do you think they won't leave you behind? Because they will. Do you think that they have an ounce of compassion for anyone? No. Let's paraphrase good old George Carlin. They don't care you at all. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all. And they talk about the new American dream, but you got to be a billionaire to believe it. I love paraphrasing George. There's an old Buddhist prayer that says something like, "May all beings be without suffering." And I heard someone chanting that, and I looked up at the world, and I kind of got to this. May all beings be without suffering. May all beings be without suffering. May this strange spinning globe traveling through clouds of infinity reduce the burden of suffering inflicted on its beings by some of them upon the rest of them. May other places and other ways far, far flung and with numbers unknown, may these other places be not like this one. May these beings speaking and croaking and fluttering in other tongues be free from unnecessary suffering. May our example be the exception, and may these numberless other places everywhere.
Next up, a new favorite of mine. I'm so glad they came tonight. Musical duo called Route One. Welcome.
Sweet desire of the pouring rain blowing through my mind like a bullet train. I'm saying, whoa, waiting on the weatherman. Whoa, waiting on the weatherman. Time and time only goes to show what you might well think you may never know. I'm saying, whoa, waiting on the weatherman. Whoa, waiting on the weatherman. Rising tide flowing in all sides, better get a grip or go for a ride. I'm saying, oh, waiting on the weatherman. Whoa, waiting till the weatherman comes anymore. Might have lost your mind, but in turn you're fine. Now you have a chance at some peace of mind. I'm saying, oh, waiting on the weatherman. Oh, waiting on the weather. If we're free, then why can't I touch the sky? I can't get no sleep, can't escape my mind. I'm saying, oh, waiting on the weatherman. Oh, waiting till the weatherman comes anymore. If you speak the truth, they'll point a finger at you. If you speak in lies, you'll find the same thing happens if you look them in the eyes. I sing fire flowing through my veins like a tree I bend, in your wind I lean. I'm saying, whoa, waiting on the weatherman. Whoa, waiting on the weather. So I guess that I'll walk these streets alone. What was in earth laying now in stone. I'm saying, whoa, waiting on the weatherman. Whoa, waiting till the weatherman comes anymore.
Yeah, and
I'm Anna. This is Michael.
Well, being here is kind of for us. We're used to playing amongst a bunch of other musicians, or having shows of our own. But being amongst poets is a really interesting kind of shift in perspective for us. So that first song was adapted from a poem, and this next one is also a poem, and it's kind of an anti-song in that there's no hook or any repeating lines. So we figured you guys would be the perfect crowd to try it out on. So it's also a personal favorite of our dear friend James, who's here from Maine to visit us. So that's pretty cool too. Anyway, we call this one "We've Turned the Key."
They say we should rise to action when it's time, but I've been stuck in place and I've been wasting mine. Guess I'm supposed to understand, but truth be told I don't at all. Guess I'm supposed to lend a helping hand, who then will catch me when I fall. It comes around again, it's never a good time, so I'll keep sitting in this cell of my design. If I were a better man, I'd have a plan, I'd learn how to make do. But I've gotta face the facts, it's who I am. No, I just can't be there for you. Stand in line and take a number. Pack your things and hit the road. Tell yourself the time is coming, though we've got no place to go. So I will throw myself into the crimson flame, and let the fire decide what's gone and still remains. And if I had the chance to make amends, I know just what I'd do. Well, I'd take that day and steal away and turn my gaze someplace away from you. Run it dry, there's nothing left except for what is here. Tangled up in thoughts of yesterday until tomorrow comes. Now babe, we've turned the key, the door is still is locked. But babe, it's been this way, it can't come as a shock. Perhaps in another life we know the right has set apart from wrong. But I can't see where we're going, so my love, I'll have to say to you so long.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having us. Robin for hosting it, and David for doing what you do. And
We've got a ton of music, so we hope to see you tomorrow at the Howland in Beacon at 8 o'clock. Please be there.
all right, we're Route 1. Thanks, everybody.
You guys are so wonderful. The last time and first time I met Route 1, they were here, and it was just me, them, and Will. And it was genuinely so wonderful. It was such an intimate treat, and I got to know them, and they're incredibly wonderful people, and I'm so grateful that they came back and performed for you guys tonight. I bet you're grateful too. So thanks for letting us hear your beautiful voices and song. Of course. Well, thank you to everyone, I guess. Next up is Heidi. Welcome.
Epitaph for a physicist. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. When Walt Whitman listened to the things of science, I imagine he heard them with a kind of wonder, a curiosity that was based on a vision of space. Though he may have been more knowledgeable about the scientific world than I am aware of. Walt Whitman concluded his education at 11. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. My father had a PhD in physics. He loved science. That was his God. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. I am a non-scientist. I view the stars the way I imagine Walt Whitman to view them. When I heard The Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman, it always reminded me of my physicist father. He could look at the stars and tell you what they were. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. He would hike up a mountain very high to the sky. He always judged himself by whether or not he was last in the line. There were several years in a row where he would be faced with mudslides, dirt and mud. He'd sleep outside in the cold. It seemed so unpleasant, but it made him strong. My father could tell time by looking at the sun. This is called It Wasn't a Goat from Africa. It's not really about the goat so much, but years ago, there was a drummer that made drums, and he got anthrax, and everybody thought it was a goat from Africa. And I knew his wife, and she said, no, it wasn't a goat from Africa. It was a cow from America. And so I called it this, and I changed his name to protect the innocent. I called him something else. That's the wrong phone. Oh, yes, no, it wasn't. My mother was everything to me. She woke in the morning. When she woke in the morning, she thought of all the things that I needed to do for my life. She made a list. She called me and warned me of the many dangers. Someone was impaled by a crane, she said. When people got poisoned by anthrax, she sent me Cipro. 9/11, she sent me a gas mask. Someone was impaled by a crane, she said. When everyone thought Seydu brought anthrax to America in the skins of his drums, my mother said people should not be allowed to bring such things. She was horrified. This was who she was, fear and dread behind every tree, and germs lay in the tips of people's fingers. My mother loved me. She tried to protect me from the music teacher. Someone was impaled by a crane, she said. I was ashamed. My mother loved me. When I was a child, I tried to make the ants sneeze. I made a bowl of mishmash and salt. I put them in. My mother didn't stop me. I continued my experiments. I was her favorite child. Someone was impaled by a crane, she said. You have such a wonderful daughter, they said. I never believed them. She told me I was beautiful. No matter what I heard, I thought it was untrue. When I was 18, she thought the Nazis and the mafia were coming after her family. Someone was impaled by a crane, she said. My mother was always thinking of water. She loved the ocean. My mother took care of me. She was a Sagittarius. When man first landed on the moon, I was with my mother. I'd seen films of dead bodies rolling into a pit. These were the things that haunted me. Someone was impaled by a crane, she said. We watched the TV. She made a list. She called me and warned me of many dangers. She made a list. My mother loved me. We saw the man landing on the moon. We watched the TV. I held my breath. My mother was everything to me. Do I have time for one more? Okay, thank you. I was trying to make sense of I'm not even sure if I can pronounce this right anymore, Mahabharata, or is it Mahabharata? Anyway, I read several versions. I wrote this many years ago. So there may be wrong things in here, incorrectness. It's called Contemplation on an Ancient Culture and These Notable Men. If I were an ancient from India, I would walk happily into death. Now I can't talk. I would be joining Yama, the god of death. I would be I would walk hand in hand with Arjuna. You know, I have to drink water. Sorry, so sorry. Sorry. If I were an ancient from India, I would walk happily into death. I would be joining Yama, the god of death. I would walk hand in hand with Arjuna. Krishna would be my guide. I would be like Sita, honorable in all things. Only one man could touch me. If I were an ancient from India, I would walk happily into death. Or perhaps I would join Krishna in the way of yoga. Or perhaps Shiva, lord of the dance. I would be Nataraja. I would stand on the head of my enemies. I would crush them under my feet. I would make them writhe in great pain, and they would bow down. I would take my hands and raise them in the air. I would be like the queen if I were from an ancient from India. I would walk happily into death. Krishna is the Lord of everything. He is Vishnu. He is Vasudeva. He is the wind. He is evil with teeth. An elephant would be my friend, and they would have names, ancien, ancient in French. If I were an ancient from India, I would walk happily into death. Krishna, advisor of war to Arjuna, mastery of all things, fighter against great odds. I would slay my enemy with magical swords. The gods would give them to me. Fair, not fair. It doesn't matter. I am a Jew. I will go back into the earth. Worms will eat my soul, my hands, and my feet. I will not dance in the heaven with the makers of the universe, and there would be only one. I will cling to the earth. If I were an ancient from India, I would walk happily into death. Heaven is not a real place, and there can be no hell, not in the Jewish religion. The yogis say, breathe, inhale profoundly, and whatever you say, it will be the same thing. Mismo in Spanish. Before Hanuman leaps over the ocean, he whirls his tail. He presses his feet into the earth, not in the Jewish religion. Hair regenerates at the root, the follicle. If we are lucky, our organs regenerate also. The liver always comes back until it can't. Some things are unspeakable, not in the Jewish religion. People steal, not in the Jewish religion, and these are notable men. When something is unspeakable, it is just that and only that.
I hope you come again soon. Yeah, wow. The one about your mom was just, I feel that as having parents, especially on my maternal side, who are just to a T like that, you know, just like, don't go to Mexico because I heard the cartel were shooting people on the beach. I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna go to Mexico, like, get over it. Yeah, thanks. Brought me back. Next up is Deborah. Welcome.
These are two very well-known poems. One is a refrain from the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. And then the other one is Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. I'm getting back into reciting poetry, so this is a good exercise. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves and the mome rass outgrave. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the claws that catch the jaws that bite. Beware the jub bird and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the maxim foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabtious day, callooh, calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe, all mimsy were the borogoves and the mome raths outgrabe. Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute, there is time for decisions and revisions which a minute will reverse. For I have known them all. I have known them all already. I have known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with a dying fall beneath the music from a farther room, so how should I presume? And I have known the eyes already, the eyes that fix you in a formulated phrase. And when I am formulated, when I am sprawling on a pin, when I am pinned and wriggling on the wall, then how should I begin to spit out all the butt ends of my days and ways? And how should I presume?
Thanks. Next up is Mia. Welcome.
Hi. I debated which one I was. It was late one night, the drinks were warm, and the music was soft. I saw you, and it was like there was something in the moon that brought us together. That was when the night changed. You were the music, the drinks, the dancing. You were a whirlpool pulling me into midnight. And suddenly the world became soft and bright, like there were 1,000 nymphs around me, laughing and dancing too fast for me to grab. And in your eyes, cherry blossoms bloomed in me, the prettiest thing, a sign of spring. I laugh and blush, look for you, as if I were in love. My heart is a nomad, and my soul was a ghost, drifting through carelessly. Now I am moonsick. When I'm not with you, it feels like I'm only dreaming. Then I see you, and I am awake. I hear guitar playing in my ears, and I sway to invisible music. And laying with you, a fire is born in me. It makes me an insomniac. How could I sleep? I wait for you to wake me up again. I'm moonsick, I'm nauseous, and my head is spinning, and you are my medicine. I can't forget the nights we shared. The stars sing it to me. Every time I go to bed and silence my mind, every time I try to tell myself that it was hopeless from the start, a little nymph sings still. No matter how hard it was for me to swim in this overactive ocean, I kept falling deeper for you. Blame it on the moon or the bottom of my drink. But you were standing there and I couldn't even think. I fell for you quickly, like the ground was lifted beneath my feet, and I learned to float but never to fly. And when I see you, your smile and your shining eyes, so full of affection, you are my moon. You touch me and my face becomes 100 roses, turning alive for you. You speak and the guitars return, the cherry blossoms sway, and the wind is my best friend. I think that I wish I was cold so that you would try to make me warm, and I wish I would cry so that you would wipe away my tears, because love is a 4-letter word that is so close to madness. You lifted me so high I could touch the moon. I close my eyes to that time you made me come alive. Now I'm locked in my daydream, hallucinating a harvest by my window because you are my moonshine. Still, the show must go on. Cherry blossoms die so soon, and I could tell your hands got heavy. The night moves on and day comes again. The sun is heavy and sweltering. It tells me I have to face the truth, that we are two sides of the same coin, living on opposite ends of each other. This couldn't be forever. I've become so moonsick, but it was once full and illuminated. Now the moon faces away from me, black and cold, invisible, and we are far apart. I am staring at a new moon, one that paints me without you. But dreams cannot die, their memory is a tombstone, and every night I will wander there with cherry blossoms and a candle. I will sit under the moon and wait for it to glow. After all, lunar is so close to lunacy, and I am moonsick, that the water in me is as wild as the sea. It rises and falls, lifted and dropped by the moon, the same moon you sit under, but only when I am awake. And I will wait at the Garden of Hope to see if one day you will be there too.
Another round of applause for Mia, please. Thanks for coming. I'm gonna totally put you on the spot right now. Mia works with me. She's like my new coworker or whatever, and she's really awesome, and I'm so glad she came tonight. I'm truly honored, and I'm so glad you read your poetry. That was like one of the coolest work-related moments out of work I've ever had. And yeah, I'm just thrilled, period. Next up is Zelda. Is Zelda here? Maybe she stepped out. Well. Well, if that's you, Zelda, you're up. Yep. All right, well, welcome to the stage, Zelda.
So my name is Zelda, a.k.a. Judith Z. Miller, and I'm a storyteller, and I tell true stories about my life. So if I have time, I'll tell 2 stories, but I have absolutely no idea what the rules are. So I'll tell 1 story, and then y'all can decide, or she'll tell me. The thing you have to know about this story, it's called shadel stock, and a shadel is the wig that married Orthodox Jewish women wear to cover up their hair. Okay, so this story is called shadel stock. It's 1999 in Park Slope, Brooklyn, and I am looking forward to an event that I look forward to all year long, a Purim costume party, especially for Orthodox Jewish women who are attracted to other women. Sponsored by the Ortho Dykes and playfully named Shadelstock, after the shadel, you know, the wig that married Orthodox Jewish women wear to cover up their hair. Well, all year long, I look forward to being in a whole room full of Ortho Dykes sneaking secretly away from their cloistered homes downtown to a great big rented room where the lights are low and the music blasting. This is supposed to be my first time packing in public. Packing anyone? Wearing a dildo. And I am feeling good in my male body, and convincing too, in a genuine faded green Air Force flight suit with a neck-to-crotch zipper pulled down to show off my naked, hairy chest. Plus, I have my scroofy little mustache, both created by gluing on my just-trimmed pubic hair. Totally realistic. I'm feeling good when I get on the subway. Train door closes, sit down, glance down at my... Holy fucking shit, I forgot my dildo. Oh my God, what am I gonna... It's too, I don't have time. If I go uptown, I gotta go turn around, I gotta turn downtown. Okay. Well, still, I'm feeling, you know, pretty sexy in that ultra masculine kind of way. I enter the room, decorated with like paper streamers, crepe paper everywhere, like a cheesy senior prom. And I spot this cute younger woman dressed like all the rest in a mid-calf black skirt and a white blouse modestly covering her elbows. I ask her to dance. She nods shyly and follows me to the very edge of the dance floor, barely moving to the music. I've never danced with anyone in public before. I reassure her that this, hello, is not exactly public. But that doesn't make her feel any more at ease. She's so stiff, and I think, wow, I think. Now, this is some serious-ass religious programming. I mean, not being able to dance with your partner in public, it's like my favorite thing to do. So I go over to the drink table to quench my thirst. That's where I hear them whispering. Is that a guy? I don't know. I think so. I thought there were no men allowed. I find out that this story is going around the room like the old telephone game. Wow, I think, cockily. I am convincing. But somehow I feel incomplete, literally emasculated, without my strap on. And I regret not going home to get it. I want a slow dance. I want to rub my hard cock up against some cute, orthodox woman's thigh. Well, not tonight, Josephinowitz. I guess I'll just have to wait till next year's edition of Shadelstock. Oh, and next year, I'm going to put a big sign on the inside of my door so I do not forget. Wear your dildo. Boing. Oi, veas mia. Thank you. So, thank you, everyone. I'm so thrilled to actually have an audience. It means so much to me, I can't even express it. I want to say, though, that I have a solo show, which is called Que Sera Sera, A Life's Journey of Sexual Orientation and Gender Expression. And you can watch it anytime, 24/7, on Hudson TV, which is actually Hudson Online, all local things about the Hudson Valley. And my show is on that platform. And you can watch it any old time for free with a free membership to Hudson. So, and my name is Zelda, a.k.a. Judith Z. Miller. Thank you so much.
Well, next up is Brandon. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, hi, y'all. Unbelievably, about a month ago, I wrote a rejected Tinder bios poem. I am not going to read it here. I didn't plan to, and it is unbelievably obscene. So I'm going to read things that are less obscene for you. Talk to me later if you want that experience. These are office poems. Apple. I sink into the pristine leather couch, white as the light off the glass walls, cold and clear as the way I want my mind to be, cozy as my colleagues that float down these halls and dream the sequences they push into their silent keys, untroubled as stainless steel joinery. I try to let go and tune myself to the great vibrating nothing and fall in love with the pure forms. But I have dust inside, and old accumulations, and things that splinter and shiver. A little dust on the table would help. There are days when I catch someone's eye and see a flicker. Meta. I greet the morning compressed, charged, coiled up, hungry for the day's hunt, flexing my ankles against the swollen earth, cracking my back like a cheetah, The sun goads me into my car, Cro-Magnon sapiens sapiens, across a concrete jungle to my desk in a concrete tree, and with the very decent cup of coffee that our labor affords grasped in my left hand, I charge into the hoary wilds of Q3 planning documents. I am a lightning rod for the ideas God has about stakeholder communications. Glorious machine at the machine, firing on all cylinders. Oracle. King of the castle, king of the castle. They finally made me big man at the office. The coffee is mine. I will drive a big car, and its rims will gleam, and I will park on the lot below all those sad saps. Suckers. Ha! Go ahead, they'll say, about the coffee. You must be very busy. When we meet at the water cooler, they will hang on our banter. They will stand there until I walk away. Those who don't laugh at my jokes will laugh like monkeys. Ah-hoo-hoo-ha! And they will invite me to lunch with them. Oh, please come to eat with us and give us the unbridled pleasure of your company. Sorry, boys, I will say. I have some very important things to take care of. Thank you.
Next up is Sammy. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay. I just have 2 quick poems. Yeah, let's do this. This poem is called Cut from My Completion. She has the gayest hands. Something about them so terribly strong and soft, as if to shred and caress in equal measure. I love the way she'd grip my waist, like a giant ant carrying a flower petal. In her room, I felt cut from my completion. And even though my heart knows better, I miss the comfort of that separation sometimes. This poem's called Do You Have Scars from Wounds You Never Suffered? And I had written this long poem for this class about coming out to my step-parents, and it was really, really long, and then a couple of years later I looked at it and I was like, none of this is right. And I think I excised the heart from it, so this is that. Do you have scars from wounds you never suffered? In the house of my heart, for example, whole floors that I had never set foot in, that I didn't even know existed, like a hotel made of missing stories, like a story written with crossed out words, like a word using an alphabet I did not choose to unlearn. Life can be a desert, land of crushed sand in puny pools of water upon which bright light shatters. And life can be this heart, opening like a cactus flower, fed a few drops of rain. The blessing of being this spine upon which such an impossible thing blooms. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, that's the end of the open mic list, which brings us to me, unless anyone objects. Well, you don't have a choice. Or unless there's anyone else who wanted to go, who didn't get to write their name down. Okay, well, on that note, it's time for me to end this thing. You know, it's like Mortal Kombat, and I'm gonna finish it right now. I thought it was funny that you read office poems, because this first poem is about, it's called Monday in the Office, and it's about a Monday morning in my office. It's called Monday in the Office. 1. So I call a man. He paid us over $100 for a subscription last summer, and somehow we never started it. This wasn't my fault, but I still have to deal with it. I say my apologies, and I'm very sorry, and I can't imagine how this would have happened many different times in many different ways. And he warms up to me. He calls my boss that dude who ripped me off, and I say, yeah, I know him. He's my boss. He says, can you send me all of the back issues I've missed? And I redirect the conversation because there's absolutely no way I can manage this. He says, okay, well, can I at least get one extra issue? And I say, yes, of course, no problem, that's fine. He gives me his address. He lives right across the street from Columbia University, where I learned he went to law school. He says, the next time you're in the city, you're coming out to lunch with me. I laugh, charmed, and say, yes, of course, no problem, that's fine. That's just fine. I say, where do you live, knowing he just told me, and repeat his address back to him. He gets a kick out of it. I can tell he's older, but I couldn't tell that he was 80, as indicated on his LinkedIn. It also indicated that he was married, that he is married or was, and that he's a lawyer or something along those lines. He says, okay, well, I'll see you soon. Make sure you call me when you're in the city. And I say, yes, of course, no problem. That's fine, but I, of course, will not oblige. 2, it's raining, heavy. I leave the office mid-conversation with my boss to snag a free cup of coffee and a 10-minute chat with the owner of the bookstore across the street. The store is closed on Mondays, but I know he's in. He's always in. He pours me a cup. The strong cherry-flavored beans steeped into a brilliant dark brown liquid are held in plastic quart containers, likely leftovers from last week. It all tastes the same to me. We sip, gossip, and he gifts me a book called Barn Gothic, a tale of a large family and the death of their dairy farm. I'm quite partial to farms and families, but mainly partial to books. I scurry back, sure my boss will reprimand me for taking my time. I'm really just paranoid from the caffeine. When I return, I tell them some of the tea, and the conversation always ends with, well, he should advertise. And I try not to roll my eyes, but I'm not successful. Thankfully, it goes unnoticed. 3. Later, I get a call from Nancy, last name Steed, S-T-E-E-D, a woman clearly never meant to live into the age of technology. She had no clue what I meant when I said, in order to read the articles, you need to log into your account on our website. She replied, do you know that what you just said is absolutely crazy? I had to hold back my laughter and my tears because it was in this moment that I realized how utterly romantic this all is. The 80-year-olds calling me to tell me I'm crazy and they're in love with me are all the same, a variation on the same theme, and it's the coffee, clearly, that has me pounding out this poem when I'm well beyond my lunch break, well beyond any sort of break, and I have work to do. I'm behind, really, and I have a lot of work to do. I must get back to work. I must write these articles and start the new issue and check my email and get up to use the bathroom. I must do all of this and more, but what if someone else calls? What if another 80-year-old calls and tells me there was an accident and they were involved and now I'm involved by proxy and I have no choice but to run to my car and save her? I have to drive there and save her because if I don't, who will? Who will save her if I don't? Who will come if I won't? Who? Thanks. Thank you. I'm trying to actually learn that one by memory, so that's why I was trying to engage with you guys. And that I'm probably going to give up in like 2 days, but I'm trying. This second one is called My Type. When I meet a man, I look at his ring finger. I look at where he stares when we talk, at the inflection in his voice, and if he laughs at all. If he never laughs, it's over before it's even started. Is he uncomfortable because I stare, or if he stares back, does it make me uncomfortable? Does he drink tea or coffee? Does he smoke? Does he speak a second language? How dirty are his shoes? None of this matters, really. To me, men are all the same, all flesh and blood and bone, all joints and ligaments and neurons sputtering away, all salivating and digesting and growing hair, all deficient and proficient in something and in love with their mother or father or grandmother or grandfather. But maybe I'm wrong about that last one. And when you get right down to it, have I been right about any of this? Today, I took a work call and a man said, "How could you publish this story? It's just wrong." I said, "Well, it's news. If it's news, we write it." He said, "It's not about that. It's about right and wrong." And I said, "What the fuck do you know about right and wrong?" He said, well, I know this is wrong. This is very wrong. And I said, okay, well, what about the people who are doing something the opposite of this? We would report on that too and give them the same type of coverage, and someone is bound to be mad about that. And he said, no, you're wrong. Nobody is mad about that. How could they? It's about right and wrong, and they're right and they're wrong. I said, get the fuck off the line, you fucking binary-loving Humpty Dumpty ass tweaker telling me what the fuck is right and wrong. Why don't you tell your mother what is right and wrong? And he said, hey now, I'm just stating a fact. And I said, don't get me started with facts. Don't get me started. He said, fine, I went too far, you're right. You know the facts. I was just a bit disturbed when I saw that article with that massive photo. I've never seen a photo that big in the paper before, besides the one where you guys are begging for money. And I do donate, by the way. And I said, well, thanks. You know, it's people like you that keep this business going. You are invaluable to us, and I thank you truly from the bottom of my heart for being you, for being just you, for all you are right and all you are wrong. And please, please don't stop donating. He said, hey now, you're talking to the right guy. Then he said, hey, you know, maybe I can take you out to lunch sometime. And I said, gosh, well, no, I can't. I'm too busy and that just won't work. He said, why? I said, what do you mean why? I just said I'm too busy and it won't work. He said, well, what did I do? I must have done something. And I said, you know what? Fine. If you really want to know, I'll tell you. He said, yeah, that's why I'm asking. I said, fine, okay, fine. If you really want to know, I'll tell you. And then I hung up. And to conclude, my type can be summed up by one word: alive. Thank you. Thanks. Those are all real stories. That's literally what it's like to work at a newspaper. Yeah, well, I guess that's the end of the show. Thank you all so much for coming. Thanks, Tristan, for reading. Thank you all for sitting through this. This is so great to see such a wonderful, vibrant crowd here. Thanks, David, as always. Yeah. And on that note, White Noise signing off.